So much fun. Even in the preseason, like just the atmosphere there, it was like that first game. It was just different atmosphere for me. And so I knew once come regular season, it was going to be jumping. And they're just in it the whole game. Obviously, we played really well. We gave them a lot of things to be excited about, but we feed off of that. We fed off of it yesterday. A couple of plays, a lot of the plays the guys made, a couple of touchdowns. I made a couple of plays. It was just a good atmosphere to go be great in.
You mentioned making a couple of plays. You stiff-armed Gilmore there on the sideline and then started flexing. Just how did that feel, letting those emotions come out?
Yeah, it was a big third down. We really strive on being successful on third, and it was just a strong play that I expect myself to make. And just a situation we're trying to drive, go get points, made a third down. It was a pretty nice stiff arm. So I felt great. It was just feeding, like I said, just feeding off their energy and just getting in my swagger, getting in my zone. It was a cool moment, and it was a big moment for our team too.
Try not to smile when you're saying all that.
It felt good for sure.
This offense yesterday, as smooth as it's been, since you guys have been trying to get it together.
I mean, we've had a lot of great days. Just a lot of great days in training camp. Going against our defense. That defense that was on the field yesterday, we saw them every day. So we had our battles, and we definitely got a lot of work in. And iron sharp as iron in that case for sure. So we were just clicking, and the coaches did a great job with our game plan. And we were all focused all week on executing and doing our job. And when the opportunity presented itself yesterday, we just cashed in, and there's still some things that we can even be better at for sure. But it's just all-around effort from everybody, coaches and the players involved.
Was there a moment in practice leading up or during the game early on when you said, okay, the offense is clicking, we got this thing rolling?
Yeah, it was the defense getting that interception the first drive. Their first possession, giving the ball back to us and us going down and scoring. That was big for us. We wanted to set the tone offensively from the jump. They got the ball first, so the defense kind of prevailed us into that energy, and we capped it off that first drive with a touchdown. And that's who we know we can be, and so we try to do it to the best of our ability. And just that drive really set the tone for the day. After the defense really set the tone for us too.
I wanted to ask you about Christian. Both of you guys are very versatile players. You can line up in different positions. Being a versatile player, just how easy is it for play callers to be able to get you involved and get you in different positions?
Yeah, it's just a lot of accountability on our part. We have a lot of guys that can do a lot of things, and the coaches know that. So, and our coaches are really smart, and they game plan really well. We have a lot of great concepts, and the offense fits what we have, and I think we just all hold ourselves accountable to knowing a lot of different positions, knowing all the nuances of what they're asking us to do. And we have a lot of different personnel, so I can be in one spot in one situation, and then we have that same situation, and I'm in a completely different spot. And so it's just accountability on our part, just knowing our job, knowing that we can be anywhere on the field and try to be a weapon.
How do you get the offensive success from Sunday to carry over week to week?
Just taking our preparation up another level. I think we were really pissed off last weekend, and then that led into a great week of preparation. And now we had a better result yesterday, and now there's no room for complacency. And I think we all can even find another level to hit in our preparation. We have a really tough opponent this week, and we're gonna need to prepare even better than we did last week.
Yeah, no matter how all the guys, skill position guys, backs, receivers, tight ends, you guys get yards after the catch, and everybody seems to be really difficult to bring down. Even you think a guy like Travis, how many times he gets popped, and then Christian broke a really good tackle that could score the first touchdown. So is that what makes this offense go? Is you guys get the yards after the catch, and then you always need to break the first tackle?
Yeah, it's just a mentality. We want to make the defense tackle us, and there's great tacklers in the league, across the league, that do a really good job at that, and there's other guys that we can attack and take advantage of. So just a mentality. When the ball comes our way, we want to be smart, have good ball security, but be aggressive and be strong with the rock and try to make the most out of each opportunity.
What was the reaction like from this locker room after the win? It seemed like a lot of the guys acted like they've been there before kind of deal, as opposed to some of the wins we've seen over the past couple of years. it was a very different energy. Is that something that, I mean, almost like Doug Pederson's impact on this team, or just you're destined for more than just one game kind of deal from the locker room?
I mean, we really expected to win. We really expected to go out and do our job and come out with a victory. And it was a division win, and we were at home. We wanted to protect our house. So, but the biggest thing, we expected to go out there and get a victory, and that's a big part of winning in this league. Every Sunday is a battle, and every Sunday, every game isn't promised. So I think it was just our mentality, like I said, in our preparation and our mentality going into the game of settling nothing less other than a victory. So I'll just give credit to just our mentality going into that game, knowing that we wanted to come out with a win. We were going to go earn the win, and we did that.
Getting ready for the Chargers, what kind of difficulties do their defense present? I mean, I know Derwin James is back there, and that's tight end safety matchup is probably something.
Yeah, no, he's a great player. Saw him in college, and watching him kind of blow up in the league. I mean, he's a freak athlete, great player. We're going to have to account for him, but they have dogs all over the place. So we have a huge responsibility in our preparation this week and trying to maximize our opportunities against them, and attack them and still go at them too. So they have a great team, great defense. It's going to be a great challenge for us.
Playing in New York before you came here, you've made those West Coast trips before. This team historically struggles when it has to go over to the West Coast. What sort of challenges does having that long flight and making that long trip kind of present to you on game day? Yeah,
it's just accountability, and the biggest thing is really just taking care of your bodies. And that having a West Coast trip like that, you got to get on it now, and really be consistent with it at the beginning of the week. Even we're going to have a couple hard practices, so everybody's got to take care of their bodies, be accountable with that stuff, and just stay focused. There's going to be a long flight, time change, all that stuff. It's just staying focused, staying locked in on our mission and our goals, and then when kickoff happens on Sunday, it's just football, and we're ready for it.
Evan, internally, you said you guys expected to win, but how much satisfaction do you get going back to the locker room after the game, looking on Twitter, seeing a lot of people saying, wow, the Jags shocked the Colts today, and seeing that and being like, man, this team's good enough to repeat that.
Yeah, I mean, we know what we're capable of. We hold ourselves to a high standard. We work our butts off every single day. The media and all the fan all that stuff, like, you guys are the professionals in that stuff. So we're professionals going out there playing football and trying to win as many games as possible and be a successful team. So we were just really pumped because we worked really hard. We worked really, really hard, everybody. And we deserve that one, and we're going to keep working hard to go get more.
You had said before, I think, that you were eager to play, for Doug Pederson because of the role of the tight ends in the offense. So through 2 weeks, kind of happy with the way you kind of been used, the targets and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm a big team guy. Like, I love doing what I have to do for the team, whatever makes it successful, and that's the rest of the guys in the tight end room too. We're all just bought into doing what we can to produce a win. So and just by nature, Doug asks a lot, and the system asks a lot of the tight ends. So we have a lot on our plate. We take pride in it. There's going to be games where we get a lot of footballs. There's going to be games where our hand is in the dirt and we got to be dirty and be really physical in the run game. So there's multiple opportunities for us, and it's a long season, so we're going to have our shots to go make plays and be involved in the pass game. But we're asked a lot to do in the run game too. So it is a big job, and Coach Angulo does a great job preparing us each and every week, and we're all just really bought into doing what we can to win.
Was yesterday the most complete game you might have seen from Trevor Lawrence? I know you haven't played a lot of games with him, but a lot of practices at this point.
Yeah, it was just a big game plan of just being smart and taking what the defense gives us. We want to go out there and call a bunch of shots and make all the plays downfield and have a lot of explosive plays. But the way that defense played, they give up a lot of stuff underneath. They give you those easy pitch and catches, and that kind of leads to that yards after catch stuff when defense is rallying down. So I think he just played a really smart, decisive game. He made a lot of plays, a couple scramble drills that we succeeded on, and just made a lot of smart throws. And we still had our shots. One shot kind of led to a penalty that kind of extended the drive. So it was just a smart performance by him, just being really decisive and smart with the ball, no turnovers. And our defense took the ball away a lot. And you do that on Sundays, you're in great position to win.
Good. All right. Thanks, E.
Thank y'all.
Okay.
Can you recap again the game that Mike Caldwell called yesterday?
Yeah, I thought he called a really good game, and ultimately it comes down to the players making the plays and being in the right positions. And I thought, the preparation during the week is what stood out to me, and how we practiced last week. But Mike having that plan and putting that plan together and executing that was really good.
What sort of growth have you seen in him? I mean, his second game as a defensive coordinator, and he's able to call a shutout, and the players had a big role in it, but that's pretty impressive.
It is. And again, it does come down to the players, being in the right positions, and that's a credit to Mike and the staff on defense for, again, coaching them up last week and what they asked the players to do. And they felt comfortable and just, it's like on offense. I mean, when you're having success, every seems like everything works, right? And overall, I thought Mike did a nice job putting that plan together.
The video came out yesterday of Marvin giving you the game ball and then you jumping around with the guys. Just how fun was that locker room to be in after a win, especially in the fashion that you guys did it?
Oh, it's great. It's great to celebrate with your team and the teammates. And I was honored that they did that and Marv presented that and to get the first one here in Jacksonville for me and. But listen, like I told the team, it's a group effort, it's a team effort, and we win and lose as a football team, and that was my message to them. But special time.
You know what your record is on the West Coast with the Eagles?
I bet you're going to tell me.
It's pretty good. 4-3.
This team
Historically has struggled on the West Coast. Is there a secret in East Coast teams going out there and having success?
Well, we understand too. It's a long flight. Number one, my first year in Philly in 2016, I think we went to Seattle. Left on Friday and went out there and didn't have very much success on a Friday. Going out there, I believe that was that time. And then I did some research with some of the sleep experts and some of the people that are kind of more professional that way and. Come to find out, if you can kind of keep your body clock on East Coast time and leave on Saturday and just treat it that way, you tend to have a little bit more success on game day, especially when you wake up and you feel a little more refreshed. So we'll go out on Saturday. We'll keep everything as if we're here at home on East Coast time, and it just seems to work out. We got to make sure the players stay hydrated and the nutrition aspect and, work out some of the, flight issues. You might have some, inflammation and things like that on the flight. We'll work all that stuff out when we land and, just prepare ourselves to play a game.
Of course, it helps when you take good teams out there, right?
Well, you got to have good teams to go out there, because historically, too, those teams here recently have been pretty good on the West Coast. So, this is a pretty good team we're playing, this weekend.
Evan Engram said the team expected to win yesterday. How have you seen that confidence growing in the guys in the locker room where there's that expectation to go out and win?
Yeah, and again, to me it goes back to practice, and the way they practice is the way they play, and they expect to practice well, so they expect to play well and win those games. And credit the players for having that mindset, having that attitude, each week, and just shows confidence in them and kind of where they are, the maturity of the football team. And not every weekend's going to be like that, but yesterday it was, and it's something I think that the guys can kind of feed off of.
I wonder if you've got the good mix going between James and Travis.
James Robinson?
Yeah, sorry. And
ETN.
sort of in the backfield.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's either the hot hand or it's just the way the plays are being called. Who's in the game. It's not against one back or the other. They're both going to get playing time. Both did an outstanding job again yesterday in the run game, and Travis a little more with some of the screens and things like that, took advantage there. So, but both are doing a really good job.
When you have a player like Christian and his versatility as a play caller, just how much fun can you have moving him around and getting him into space? Like the first touchdown, you brought him into the backfield. They had a Pro Bowl cornerback on the other side, and he wasn't able to cover him because Christian was able to get into space.
Well, that's why we game plan and try to put our players in position. And Trevor and Christian have worked on that. We actually had that play up the week before, the Washington game. We just didn't use it and felt it was good this week in the red zone and pulled it out. So, but yeah, it's match. This league's about matchups, and again, trying to put our position, our players in positions to be successful in the game. And defensively, they're doing the same thing. They're putting their players, on our best players too. And sometimes they're going to get us, and sometimes we're going to get them. But it's good when you got a guy like Christian, Zay, Marv, the two running backs. Evan. You can move them around in your formations and create those matchups.
Okay, yeah, Paul.
What kind of game did Rayshon Jenkins have for you guys? I think he had 3 pass breakups to go along with his pick.
He played well. He played sound. He's one of the leaders back there. He played physical. The whole game. Took on a shot from their runner and stood in there. So yeah, he played really well.
How hard is it to keep this team grounded?
Well, to me, it's up to the team. It's up to the players, really. But for me, it's kind of easy because the message is always going to be the same thing. It's all about us going 1-0 this week, and it doesn't really matter what we've done in the past. And it's a short-term memory each week. It's a new set of challenges, and so it's my job to make sure that the guys stay focused that way and never lose sight of that, because that's when you get beat, when you start kind of feeling full of yourself just a little bit after something like this on Sunday, or you have success a couple weeks in a row, and you want to build on the momentum, of course, but at the same time you got to stay humble and grounded and continue to improve at what you're doing.
What stood out to you about Trevor watching the games?
I just think the way he controlled and managed the offense, his efficiency, getting the ball out of his hand. He saw the defense extremely well, found the right guys, in the right spots. And again, we talked all last week about, the Gus Bradley type of defenses. You kind of know where they're going to be, and so we have to maintain that discipline on offense. And Trevor's part of that, and he did an outstanding job in the game. Just delivering the football, and very accurate too. It wasn't a lot of back shoulders or low balls, things like that. He was very accurate with that.
How far is it mechanically for a right-handed quarterback to roll left and then throw it with accuracy and velocity?
Yeah, it's a tough throw. It's a tough throw, but it's one of the things that we try to do as much as we can. We can feel like we can go either way, with Trevor, because he's very accurate out of the pocket. Made that a couple tough throws going to his left. Obviously the one to Marv, and then the one to Christian down the field. So difficult to do, but he makes it seem pretty easy.
Did you have trouble with that throw when you played left?
Have you been pleased with what you've seen from your defensive front through 2 games so far?
Well, yes, because I take what we did in the Washington game, and they learned from that game, and then they came out yesterday and performed well, and they stayed disciplined. Other than the 2 long runs where there were some communication issues, they stayed really disciplined in their lanes and trusted each other. Backers were downhill, but the D-line, then getting after them in the passing game, putting pressure on Matt all day, was the difference really in the game, as a defensive perspective. So very pleased with the D-line, and something they can obviously build on.
Did you see things maybe slow down a little bit for the rookies, Trayvon, Devin, and Luke?
Yeah, I did. And again, that's that jump between the first and second game. We saw it, and I think you'll see another jump between second and third game. Obviously on the road, but yeah, I think things kind of calm down for them a little bit. They can still calm down a little bit more, but they're all smart guys, and they play extremely hard. They play within themselves and do some good things.
I think through the first 2 games, the team is leading the league in turnover differential. Just how important is that for the defense to be coming away with those takeaways and getting offense extra shots, especially as the season goes on?
Yeah, I mean it's very important. We talk about creating turnovers and try to get as many in practice as we can, whether we're punching the ball out or catching interceptions. And it's good to be in that position now, but it's something we've got to sustain and we've got to maintain it throughout the course of the season. And anytime, I think, even in this game where interception on the first possession of the game, and then the offense goes 15 plays, in 9 minutes and scores a touchdown. And then a 4th and 3 in there, and some nice plays. That's complimentary football, right? And it just helps gain an extra possession for your offense. And any team would say that if you can do that, you can win more games if you're on the positive side of that.
When you're game planning, are you, in your mind at least, expecting the team to get those takeaways from what you've seen in training camp and before?
Well, I mean, you expect to create some turnovers, and you also expect the offense to keep the ball, and not turn it over, But defenses are taught to punch and swipe and get the ball out, and the Colts are one of the better teams at doing that. Historically they've always been good at it, but it's something that we talk about during the week with our team. We keep talking to our defense, about creating turnovers and go from there.
Is it an awkward exchange after the game with Frank in any way?
No, not at all. Not at all. This is the second time I believe that he and I have faced off against each other. A lot of respect for Frank and what he's doing, and just wished him well and told him we'd see him in a couple weeks.
What do you do differently after a victory as a head coach? Post-game, anything?
Nothing. Obviously, it was at home, so it's just going home, relax with family. Had family in town. Just watch the rest of the games on Sunday, and then really kind of just in my mind just go through the game. You just kind of rehashing everything, every decision, every call, every aspect of the game in your mind. But you're sitting there just relaxing, and then you got to get up early and get in here Monday and get ready for the next week.
You sleep better,
Always. Always.
When you look at the Chargers, what kind of stands out? I know they had a few extra days to prepare for it.
Yeah, we'll get on to the Chargers today and the rest of this week, but number one, they got a great quarterback. Number one, big physical guy. Throws the ball well. Got some targets to throw to on the outside. Mike Williams and Allen if he makes it back this week, and we'll see there. But defensively, we understand they've two outside linebacker DN type guys. In Bosa and Khalil that are tremendous players. They can get after the quarterback, and you saw that in the Chiefs game, Thursday night, how they put pressure on the quarterback. And we're just in the beginning stages really of watching them and putting a plan together. But Coach Staley's got a pretty good football team out there. All right, guys. Thank you, guys.
Cues, first of all.
Man, that's a great way to start, actually. We had a huge win. Saturday, I was in my couch, right at 12, right until 3:50 when we beat Purdue at home. Big win. So.
After last week's game, a lot of the guys in the second talked about communication issues. What did you guys do in practice this past week, and how did that improve yesterday? Obviously, the communication was great because it was a heck of a game.
Yeah, I think we took away where we fell short last game in terms of communication and stepped it up in practice this week. We weren't horrible in last game, but it was some critical moments where we didn't get it across. So we talked about eye contact every play, and it carried over.
How much of it is on you to be the communicator back there? I mean, is most of that on you?
Yeah, I mean,
It's a shared job.
It's a shared job, but it's on me. At the end of the day, if communication doesn't get across, you look at me and say, why didn't you communicate? I got to kind of start it most of the time.
First career pick. Do you have the ball? Did you keep it?
Yeah, it's in my locker right now, tucked away, locked up, so nobody can touch it. And I plan on. I think most people in the league like paint it or something after you get it. So I'm trying to get that done.
What was up the turnover? Did you guys have like a turnover chain after the interception?
I had no idea where that came from. Ray Sean took it from the crowd and he was like forcing it over my helmet, and I'm like, bro, just hold it because it's not making it over there. But I had a chain in my hand somehow after the pick.
Is this kind of thing going to be contagious? Do you think once you guys started getting the picks and forcing fumbles and things, is it going to mushroom, so to speak?
From my experience, that's kind of how it goes. Like once it starts, it just takes one person to kind of like break the seal, and then they start flooding in. I feel like that's my experience with turnovers.
6 takeaways this year. I mean, that's only 3 fewer than you guys had all of last year. And did you guys know coming into the season you had the potential to be that kind of defense who can just consistently get the ball?
Yeah, I mean, we have that type of personnel. Everyone's background is takeaways, like from front to back. It's like everyone, Josh Allen sack fumbles. You got Devin Lloyd who has ball skills. And so we got a bunch of guys like that. So you expect it to happen.
Was this game a good example of how pass rush and coverage can kind of impact each other, just the coverage, kind of helping get some of those situations where you guys can go get the ball?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we watched it on film just now, and you could see, like, every time there was a big play on the ball, it was because there was pressure up front.
How much competitiveness is there amongst the defensive group on who's going to get those takeaways? I mean, there's got to be a little friendly trash talk now that you got one, Rayshawn got one, toward the guys that haven't got their hands on one yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit. There's always a little bit of tension in that aspect, but it's friendly. It's definitely friendly. I think Tyson had brought it up, like, okay, who we in a race now, and I'm like, just chill, bro. You know, but yeah.
But you know who doesn't have them.
Who?
You guys know who doesn't have
Oh yeah. We but you know, it's only week 2, so I mean, we fortunate to have as many as we have, you know, right now.
What sort of personality does it? I mean, when you start getting the takeaways, the defense kind of starts to develop their own personalities and things like that. I mean, what sort of personality is this group kind of really developing at this point? I mean, it's only 2 games in the season, but pitch a shutout in week 2, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that, like I said, that's part of our identity. That's kind of how we see ourselves, is like a defense that takes the ball away and that can rely on that. Like if you have some bleeding on the field where, you get a drive going, we can end it right away with a takeaway. And I think that's what we're looking forward to doing and how we, molding ourselves.
How much more disciplined was this team overall this week? I mean, 13 penalties last week, I think just 3. I mean, you wiped out a bunch of them in 1 week.
I think it's about focus and being in practice, putting yourself in a situation like these reps really matter, and I think that's the best way to eliminate the penalties like we did.
Andre, when Coach Pederson gambles on 4th down as much as he does, does the defense take that as a compliment? That, okay, if we don't get this, those guys, we're going to be down deep, and those guys are going to make a play.
Absolutely, I love it. I'm like, when it's 4th and 3, we're all like, go, 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 like, because it's just like, we believe that we're going to stop the offense, obviously, and then we also have a ton of faith in our offense that they're going to get the first down.
Like I said, is Coach Pederson just telling you as a defense, I trust you guys that if this doesn't work, you're going to have them deep and you're going to make a play?
Does he tell us that?
Yeah, or do you sense that?
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. That's definitely the kind of what I received from that is like, they're at the maybe 45, not a great place to be going for on 4th down if you look at it from the outside in, but when you got a defense that you trust, you comfortable doing stuff like that.
What was the energy like in the stadium yesterday for it being the first home game, division game, and just how did the fans kind of react?
They reacted really well. I mean, I feel like they got behind us early after that first takeaway, and they rode with us throughout the whole game. Even throughout the rain, I didn't feel like people was all hiding in the back. I feel like they was all still outside cheering us on. So it was dope. It was good to see.
What sort of game was that from Mike Caldwell? This is only his 2nd game as a defensive coordinator.
That's a big first win. We talked about it in the meeting. We gave him a game ball. We was like, shutout first win. That's big time. So shout out to Coach. He did a really good job.
How do you react when y'all gave him the game ball?
He's just smiling, trying to be humble. But we know that it's a big accomplishment for our first time DC.
So you guys, would you have cared if they had gotten in late and it wasn't a shutout, or was that like, we have to get this shutout?
No, we had to get that shutout. I think somebody had brought up to me, like, 24-0, don't you start taking out the starters, like my uncle or somebody asked me that. And I was like, not when you try and get a shutout. Like, once you that close to leaving 0 on the board, you don't want to give that up.
You got a pretty good quarterback on the Chargers that you have to start preparing for at this point. When you think about Justin Herbert and you think about some of the receivers and weapons they have on that offense, what kind of goes through your mind?
Big week for the secondary. You got a lot of weapons on the outside and a quarterback that can make all the throws. So it's that simple. You come across that every week in the league, but this week especially.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all. Sure.